Hey guys, OFSREagle here, bringing you a brand new video today. Today I'm bringing you my go-to skill jumps in the rig, and it was I took a quick video break to do the spring jump video, and now that I did that, I wanted to. Someone commented on my one of the other go-to skill jumps to do the rig, and you know, it's really good because there's a lot on the rig, so I want to take a moment to share the ones that I use. Obviously there's a lot, but I don't use all of them, so I'm just going to take a moment to show you what I do use, what I find helpful, and then some tips on how to better perform these skill jumps. So the first one, probably the most used one, probably the most popular, the bread and butter for this map, is over at Engine 1 to Engine 2, and most of you probably already know it. Instead of having to go like this up to Engine 2, what you can do is, if you see that there's this little ledge here, which most of you probably already know, you can hop up like this, and it's very simple. All you literally need to do is jump, hold crouch, and press jump again. I believe you can hold crouch the entire time. Yep, literally as you jump, your feet rest on this, you hold crouch, and then press jump and clamber, and you get up there. And the reason why it's so valuable is because this, it's not as quick, it's not as, and you know, from this way you'd have to do this, right? And it makes you a little bit more visible. So it's something I'm not keen on, so to speak. So you just get used to doing it from any angle, and it's just very useful. So this is probably the second most used skill jump for me, at least, and probably in general. It's from basement window to basically railgun spawn or long haul. You've probably seen it before. It's where you jump, stabilize, and you clamber this point right here. Right, and it takes a lot of practice, but once you get it down, it's very easy to perform over and over, and it's very useful, because if there's any engagements, especially in strongholds, this is something that's, you know, you get in a tight spot, especially by barrels, and you can escape quickly through there. Some people say you have to Gandhi hop. You don't have to. In fact, you can just hold crouch, and then if you notice, every time I'm aiming for that right there. You see that, and that's how I get the clamber, right? Now notice I'm not here. I won't be able to get it because this little bit will actually hit the my Spartan's head and prevent me from going up. And I'm not also thrusting into it, obviously, because that's just, it's a very gentle skill jump, if I could say that. You do have to stabilize for some reason in order for it to work. You have to stabilize up, and it really does. I mean, look at this play here. Let's say railgun just comes up, and you are basement window. You can very easily go up there, right? Now, again, you've noticed I came from this angle. It didn't work. I envisioned this line like this. That straight line, and I get up there. And you can either go to long haul, white haul, rail spawn. It gives you a lot of options. It's also really good if you're in a fight, just escaping gunfire. I mean, or even getting a backstrike like that. Now, if you don't want to use the stabilization, you can do a spring jump, and it'll work just fine. You do have to be very precise with this jump, though. Right, you really want to be right on the edge of that, and then you clamber and you get it. Now the next jump I use a lot is this. From it's a thrust bump from here to catwalk, and I use it a lot. It does have a bit of a risk. Sometimes it's temperamental. You know, I don't hit it all the time. Sometimes I'm too early, and something like that will happen. And so I have practiced it a lot to where it's very reliable for me. But every once in a while, I'll still mess it up. Just a little tip: after you thrust up, press and hold the jump button, because that will get you, watch, if I, well, it really doesn't make a difference here, but especially in maps like Fathom, pressing jump after you thrust will get you a little bit extra height. The next jump that I use a ton is this. It's a thrust, slide, jump, and you stabilize into that. And it's been around for a while, and it's really useful for getting to the engine 2 hallway really quick. Especially because normally you hear a lot of contesting and fighting going on up there, and normally you have to either do this to get up there, at which you're also visible from anyone sitting over there and you get shot at, or you can go from over here, and it just takes a lot longer. The main way it works is if you, so this is what I'm doing effectively: thrust, slide, jump. And all it is I'm timing that exact motion with when I run into this railing. And what happens is that some of the geometry of this railing will actually, if I jump out of that slide at the exact right moment, my feet will clip this and it'll launch me up there. And this takes a lot of time and practice. It took me a long time to be able to do it. And if you do it right, you'll be able to do it without stabilizing, and eventually even without clambering. If you hit it just right. But yeah, so I use it a lot. It's very fast. It does allow you to get from this position up there within 2 seconds. It's very, very useful. I recommend practicing it. And I'm going to give you a little pointer real quick. Just the timing. Sprint, thrust, slide, press, jump. Now I'm holding slide. I'm not just pressing it. Let me rephrase that. Sprint, thrust, hold slide, press, jump, stabilize. That's the speed at which I'm doing things, and I can get it there. Now the next jump is basically the same thing, but on the other side. Instead of clambering up here, I'm actually clambering this right there. And this isn't as well known. The mechanic is exactly the same, but not a lot of people do it, so it really catches a lot of people off guard. But what it really does allow is, you have to be kind of at almost like a 90-degree angle. If you notice, if I go too far off on like this slant, it won't work very well. I can get it, but that was really close. But if you notice this path I take, I kind of go like this. I do a little cut in. Also, just the same as over here, if I aim too much right here, it really doesn't work. So you want to aim right at that little black spot there, and same thing right there, and it should be very reliable. And you can see I even did it without clambering, and that's the best situation you could hope for. Now, I wouldn't overuse it. See, like I said, that area is what you want to avoid. You want to aim for that. And so I use it a lot, mainly to escape little gunfights that I don't want to be a part of. And again, it's all about timing. So I really won't really use it unless I've gone in a custom game and mastered it over and over. Okay, and I'm gonna real quick verbalize the timing of it. So I sprint, thrust, slide, and you saw when I jumped. I'm gonna do it one more time. Also a visual cue. I thrust right as I cross that. I've tried thrusting here or here, and it doesn't work as well. And so that visual cue for me is sprint, thrust, slide, press, jump, and that's the speed at which I do it. Now, quick little thing. I use the thrust. You don't have to. It's a lot harder to do, but you can do it just by sliding. It takes a lot more practice. The margin of error is much slower. As you can see, it's very hard to hit. But what it does allow is you to be able to go from here to there without using that stabilize. And I really do appreciate the thought, but the thing is that also slows it down. And so for me, this isn't really about being sneaky, it's more about speed and getting somewhere quick. To me, that's the usefulness of this jump. So I use the thrust simply because it just quickens the speed at which I get from here to there. You can do it without the thrust, It's just really hard and a lot slower, so there's that for you. Let's go back over here. The exact same principle applies here. This, sometimes you'll get, you can easily miss, and it may end up costing you a life if you're not careful, just like that. So you thrust, just like that. And I think it's a little bit more reliable than this guy from what I can tell. I haven't done it all that much, but it's the same principle as the jumps here and there. So you literally just sprint. You don't even have to be at, I think, at a full sprint. Let's see. You do need to be at a full sprint. And once you're at a full sprint, thrust, hold, slide, press, jump right as your feet contact that rail right here, and then you'll end up arcing right into that. Now that does require a stabilize. You can miss it obviously, but with time and practice, from what I can tell, it's a little bit more useful or reliable than this. But the next most useful one for me, it isn't often that I'm on, it's called flank stake, whatever, but I do a spring jump glitch with a thrust right after I jump, and it allows me to get from this out here to tower 2 very quickly. And so I can grenade into here and then get out of there, and they think I just, am somewhere around there, and I could even come around and maybe get a back smack or something. The next jump I use that to me is very useful is if you thrust and hold jump right off of this. I choked it, but you actually scoot right up to engine 2. Just like that. I don't use it a lot, but in order of like when I use, that's still like one of my go-to skill jumps. I still will pop it out, not very often in the game, but it's still something I use a lot. The last one that I'll include for this video is something that I find, I actually recently found, and I didn't create the principle or anything, but just to show you guys. So you can normally sprint, thrust, slide, and jump, right? And that's a mechanic everyone knows. You can actually sprint, jump right before you hit the ground. You thrust, press and hold, slide, and then jump, and it achieves the exact same thing as a normal one, except you now don't need a full connected playing field. You can actually jump over something, press thrust, slide, and jump, and then you'll still achieve the exact same effects. And I found it to be useful in this exact scenario right here, especially in strongholds. Let's just say your red team railgun spawns right there in strongholds, right? A lot of it is a fight to who can get to camouflage and railgun the fastest. So normally blue team gets to railgun first because they are a little bit closer to it in proximity. So I found a way to quickly go from here to up there, and I realized something I was doing with Plaza is that you can actually delay that thrust slide. So it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be the ground, it could be any surface. As long as it's flat, that jump will still work. That mechanic of you full sprint, jump right before you hit the ground, you thrust, slide, and jump. And what I found is this, and now I've been using it a lot. It's only recent development. I've only been using it for about 2 weeks. But that is the jump right there. Now I'll show you a few times. So from bunker, which is where red team spawns, if you get this spawn, do it. In strongholds at least. If you're trying to go there. For this, I wouldn't really recommend it. It might work. Not really. It only works if you get that right side bunker spawn off the start of the game. And the reason why is because you get this kind of this straight line from here to railgun. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing that. Now, I'm going to fully explain the exact... It's basically... Here. Sprint, jump, thrust, slide, jump, stabilize. right? And if you aim it perfectly, you really won't have to stabilize. It will get you directly there, and it's really useful, and it's really fast. And it's extremely useful at the start of the game, because normally red team doesn't get to that position very fast. And so if you notice, just like that, and then you have railgun. Now if you notice, when I jump from bunker down to the cargo, whatever it's called, I reposition myself mid-air. I can't just do it at this angle, so when I jump, I kind of re-aim back to that line that I want to go to, like this. Jump, I'm turning, I thrust, slide. Now if you delay it too long, or if you do it too early, you'll end up not getting the momentum you need, just like what happened there. But I found that over practice, you'll kind of get a feel for it. Jump, re-aim, thrust, slide, jump again, and then clamber, and you can get it, and it's really useful. And it's really quick and unexpected. Those are my go-to skill jumps on the rig. Again, not a lot of them are too unknown. This one I think is the most unique. It's just something that you don't see a lot of people do. So those are my go-to skill jumps. Hopefully you guys found them useful. Let me know which ones you guys already knew, or if there's ones you didn't know, or if you need help with any, let me know. Again, I like this one a lot. To me, it kind of opens up a new paradigm for that opening strategy for red team. So with that, I will see you guys in the next one. I'm going to try to change up the videos a bit soon, and yeah, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.